I'm making an impromptu video on spark plug changes. This is a 2007 Dodge Grand Caravan. Your Grand Caravan will be very, very similar. I'm doing this because the car, it's about 200,000 miles. I've not changed the plugs before. This is what a current plug looks like. I've taken it out, and you can see the head is, it's really, the gap is way, way too big. I think the car's probably not running very well because of that. So the first thing I did is I bought 6 replacement spark plugs. I bought platinum tips. This car is old. I'm not going to buy super fancy, nice spark plugs. I bought decent ones. They were about 10 bucks for 2. You need a 5/8 spark plug puller. You need a gap, spark plug gap tool, and you then can start the job. If you want, by the way, you can buy replacement cables for the spark plugs if you want. I think it might improve performance a little bit. I didn't, but totally up to you. To start, what I found was in the engine, the front spark plugs, there are 3 of them. They're pretty easy to get off, right? You just grab the cable and pull. Don't grab the cable, grab the base right in the middle, and give that a good pull like I've done here. Do not pull on the cable itself because that would just be unadvisable. What I found was the back spark plugs, they're hard to get to. The gap between the top of the engine and the hood is really, really tight. So I had to do 2 things. First, I unscrewed this this air duct and pulled it out. It is attached to an electrical fitting, so just be careful with that. What you want to then do is use your hand. You can reach in behind and grab the spark plug from the back, and it gives you enough space. After, though, you must drop the engine a little bit. So unless you have very, very petite arms and hands, I'm a pretty normal sized guy. I could not get my arm anywhere around that engine to fit the to get the spark plugs out. So I wound up dropping the engine a little bit, and all I did was I got a jack with a piece of wood on top, as you can see, underneath the oil pan, just to distribute the weight. The engine's quite heavy. I jacked it up just so that the wood was secure onto the oil pan. Then I removed the 3 bolts, which are right down in there. The bolt looks like that. It's quite long, as you would imagine. They're mounting bracket bolts. So I removed the 3 bolts and then slowly drop the engine down, and you can see the height. You'll get about, I don't know, 1.5 inches, 4 centimeters, something like that. Enough to make space to get my hand in. I was able to get in, and I just want to take a little video of the back of the engine. I'm doing this. There's the 1 spark plug. There's the 2nd. I've got it in. I'm doing this video. There's the 3rd. Because I found that my iPhone, or any phone I guess, it's very, very helpful to you when you're trying to reach way in the back here. You can't see what the camera is now seeing, but I was able to hold this with one hand and then get like a ratchet down there to extract the spark plug, and then I was able to find the hole again for the replacement spark plug with my iPhone. So just, you might find it's super useful. There's the one I already did. I'm doing in the middle of that one now. Also, I didn't mention before, when you put the spark plugs back in, put a little oil, light oil, just around the thread. It'll go in much, much easier. There's a lot of gunk that's getting built up in your cylinder over the years. Okay. Yeah, because the angle of your hand versus the position of the spark plug cable is not very, doesn't allow you to get a good grip. You just have to keep wiggling the cables until they come off. It might take you 30 seconds or a minute, depending how strong you are. Before you extract the spark plug, if you can see I've got a compressed air compressor with an air blower. I blew all the gunk out of the top of all the spark plugs because there's a well there, and if that dirt gets in, that wouldn't be very good at all. Then take off the spark plugs one by one. They are set quite deep, so it'll take you quite a few turns to get the spark plug off. Then replace the spark plug with the replacement one. One like here. And what I did, I found that the old spark plugs were the threads were quite rusty and not rusty, but just old and dirty, and they were a bit hard to get out. With the new ones, just take a little bit of motor oil, just a little bit, and you'll find that speeds them going in. So definitely do that. Torque it in. Oh, sorry, one thing before. You want to set the gap for the spark plug. So these ones are set to be 0.05 inches, and if you've seen one of these, you can pick them up at the auto store very cheap. It's a tool where you can see the edge of the little gap tool increases as you spin it around. So 0.05 is about right there. So you slide this into the gap between the spark plug and the point, and you rotate this until you get to 0.05. Then to increase the size of the gap, you just give this a bit of a twist, okay, and that'll increase the size of the gap to just until the 0.05 mark fits just between the point and the gap. Then install the spark plug. Torque it in. I think the spec is 15 foot-pounds, but I just put mine in as tight as they would go, and I gave it an extra little bang just to lock it in. Reinstall the cables, and then reinstall the air duct. Jack the car engine back up and reinstall the bolts. One thing you'll find is if for some reason you didn't buy enough spark plugs and you can only do 2 or 4, you'll get and you start the engine, the pistons will be unbalanced a little bit. You'll get an engine code. Probably don't want to drive it. It's up to you. I don't think it'll kill the engine, but it's not optimal, that's for sure. But you'll get an engine code, get the remaining spark plugs put in, and then put the code reader that you must have onto the port on the inside of the passenger, the driver's side of the car, and read the code, and then clear the code, and you'll be good to go. That's it. This was really straightforward. I could do it again now in probably 30 minutes if I had all the tools and watched this video. Before that, probably took me a couple hours. I'm just trying to figure out the engine and whatnot. All right, good luck with that.